This is example 1 for the introduction to SOLIDWORKS part files. To begin example 1, we're going to start a blank new part file by selecting New. With our new SOLIDWORKS document window open, we have a list of templates. We want to be in the InSprotect Templates tab and select the inch 3 decimal place template and select OK. When SOLIDWORKS opens, we'll have a blue dot on our screen. This is the origin, which is used to define the three-dimensional workspace. We also have 3 planes that can be viewed by selecting Hide Show Entities, Planes. These 3 planes are what are used to define the orientation of our three-dimensional workspace. So, the origin defines the center of our three-dimensional workspace, and the planes define the orientation of our workspace. The planes are also used as two-dimensional surfaces to create sketches on. Generally, it's easier to work with the planes hidden, so let's select View Planes to toggle the planes off again. Our first step in this example is to create a sketch on the front plane. So let's select the front plane and select Sketch. We could also select Sketch from the Sketch Tools toolbar. With the sketch now active, and we know our sketch is active by the 2 icons in the corner and by the fact that our sketch icon is depressed, we can now sketch a rectangle. So let's select the rectangle command, and we want to select a corner rectangle. To start our corner rectangle, we'll highlight over the top of the origin, and we can see we get a little yellow dot. This is what's called an automatic relationship, which is going to lock the corner of our rectangle into the origin. So I'll highlight and just drag up and release. We've created a rectangle. Now simply press Escape to get out of the rectangle command, and Escape again will unhighlight those objects. We can see that 2 lines are blue and 2 lines are black. The blue lines, if we grab and hold, are movable, while the black lines remain in the same location because their endpoints are locked into that origin. So what we need to do next is learn how to define these objects to keep them from moving. And there's 2 ways we can do this. One is with relationships, and the other one is with dimensions. We're going to start with the relationships. So if we hold Control down, we can highlight 2 entities, and with those 2 entities highlighted, we can either add a relationship on our context from our context toolbar, or on the side under the properties, we have a list of relationships we can add to 2 lines. In our case, we want to select an equal relationship. So select the equal relationship, and now if I were to select the corner of that what was a rectangle, we'll notice that it's a square because we've made the height and the width equal. Lastly, to define the size of our object, we're going to use a smart dimension. Smart dimensions can be accessed from the context toolbar, from the sketch tools toolbar, from our right-click menu, or by selecting D on the keyboard. With the Smart Dimensions command active, simply select the line you would like to dimension, select a location to place the dimension, and enter your dimension. We can now see that we have a fully defined box. It's black, it does not move. If I were to add another dimension to the same location, I've made this box go yellow. And if we look down at the bottom here, we see that yellow means there's item conflicts. Also down below we see that it's an overdefined sketch. Overdefined sketches appear in yellow or more often in red, both meaning that your sketch is overdefined. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that overdefining dimension so that our sketch is still fully defined. And now we can move on to creating depth to our two-dimensional profile. To do so, we're going to use a Boss Extrude feature, so select the Features toolbar, and then select Boss Extrude. And we can see we immediately get a preview of our Boss Extrude. Now we can set the depth of it simply by dragging the arrow. See, we've got a ruler. If we go above the ruler, we can snap to individual dimensions. Or we could go to the sidebar here and type in an exact dimension. In our case, we want 1 inch, so we'll enter 1 inch. And we can select the end condition. The end condition allows us to do things like have the extrude go equally in both directions, or blind just in one direction. Or we could add a second direction so it goes a different distance in the second direction. We also have the option to apply draft. So our extrude tapers. We could apply a draft outwards so it tapers outwards instead of in. There's several different options we can apply here, but in our case, for this example, we are simply going to have a 1 inch blind extrude. So we can go ahead and accept that. We have now completed a solid block. The next step is to go ahead and save this file. So let's select Save in a location where you can save the part files from the lessons that we complete. Let's create a folder for the lesson 3 files. I'm going to call this folder L3 Intro to Parts. Now we'll go ahead and open that folder and save this file as L3-EX exercise 1-instructor. In your case, instead of typing instructor, you're going to type your own name and go ahead and save that file. Now before we bring a close to this example, I would like to quickly go over a few more of the sketch tools that we missed by creating this example. So if I simply Control-Tab to another part that I've started, we can see here I've also drawn a square, and if I look at the line, I can see that I have also added that equal relationship. However, this square is blue, it's not fully defined. And the reason for that is it hasn't been located to the origin. If I simply drag that down until I get that little yellow dot, meaning I'm getting that automatic relationship to lock the corner into the origin, my sketch instantly becomes fully defined. And this is because in order to fully define an object, it has to be located to the origin. It not only needs its relationships to define its own size, but it has to define its location in the three-dimensional world.